Hey guys, in today's video, we are going to demonstrate a 911 call. So basically, this is not going to be actual 911 call, but just a demo. So in generic case, what happens is like, let's say from an IP phone, you dial a 911 number. So what happens is like, you pick up the phone, dial 911, and it is going to match a route pattern, and that route pattern is going to, send the call to the PSTN router or maybe the SIP provider, and then the call goes over the cloud and then connects to a 911 operator. So what happens in such cases, right? If you don't have a proper alerting mechanism, right? Supposing if someone dials 911, if you don't have alerting mechanism, so the team within the organization may not come to know that someone has dialed a 911 call. So there are some third-party tools available to achieve this. So where if someone is dialing a 911 call, it sends an email, as soon as the number is dialed. So it sends a email to a distribution list or maybe an email address, and the people in the organization comes to know, okay, there's some emergency happened and has dialed a 911 call. So in our scenario, we are going to use UCCX. What we are going to do is, uh, let's say IP phone makes a call, so the call goes to the CUCM. So in CUCM, what we are going to do is we are going to send the call to UCCX, and UCCX, what it does is it takes a call and then it sends an email alert. And as soon as it sends an email alert, it routes the call to the PSTN router and sends a call to the 911 operator. So in this case, the security team over here, right, will come to know that there is someone who is dialed 911, and for this person, the call will connect. So in today's video, I'm not going to go in very deep explanation or going to be deep talking about productionize it, but this is just going to be a demo video where I'm just going to verify like how do you send an email alert when you are sending 911 call. So generally, the best recommended way is when you are designing this, you have to make sure like you are sending the correct caller ID. For example, let's say site A, right? So when you are site A person is making a call, 911 call, so you are sending the correct caller ID of site A. You should not send the caller ID of site B, so which would lead to some confusions. To the 911 operator. So there are a lot of things that needs to be considered. So again, this is something like you have to carefully design it as per your requirement. But in today's video, it is just going to be a demo. And what we are going to do is instead of sending it to the PSTN provider, right? I don't have a PSTN provider. What I'm going to do is I'm going to here, use a um, um, use another IP phone which acts as a 911 call. So let's say I have another phone which will act as a 911 call. So this guy makes a call, the call will hit the call manager, and from call manager, the call goes to the UC6, and from UC6, what it does, it sends the call to the 911 operator, which I'll make my IP phone act as a 911 operator. But in a real-time scenario, you can send the call to another route pattern, which will send the PSTN call to the PSTN router, and that call will send to the 911 operator in real time. But again, please be careful. You have to consider all the laws. You have to consider the calling party, the call party properly. You have to make sure you do the routing correctly. Otherwise, there can be some issues that you may encounter when the call is being received by 911 operator. All right, so let's get started. So what I'm going to do is first and the foremost is I'm going to, create a script in the CCX script editor. So let me open the script editor and do it now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first create a new script, file new, and then it'll be a blank script. So you'll get start and end by default. So I'm not going to accept the call. So instead of accepting the call, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, uh, get few of the inputs, for the calls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this and then get call contact info. I'm going to drag this to here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some variables and then use that variable for get call contact info. Okay. So the variable I'm going to create is a string calling contact info. So I'm going to create another one string, so which is going to capture the calling number here, and click on OK. I'm going to create another string called contact info. So what it is going to do is whenever someone dials 911, so your call number will always be 911, but to get the person who has dialed this 911, right? So you are capturing this information here. So you'll get the calling party number here and call party number here. So let's do one thing. Let's map this data. So I'll open this and get call contact info. And in calling number, I'm going to map this to calling number, and in the call number I'm going to map this to call number. Click on apply and OK. So right now what we have done is we are first, as soon as the call comes in, so we are gathering the data, who is the calling party number and what's the number that is being called. So obviously the number that is being called would be 911 or maybe 9911. So that is something that will get captured here. And then after that, what we need to do is we need to create email and send an email. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create an email from here. I'm going to drag this. So what you need to do is if you click on the properties here, right, it is asking like what subject line, what body and what email contact that you are trying to, use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another, variable here. So which will be email contact, and let's do that right now. So click on new. I'll enter the type as contact, and here I'll mention as email contact, right? And the value would be null. So I've done this. Now I'll click on properties here. Now in the subject, like, right, so what you want the subject to be exactly. So maybe whenever the email is being sent, right, how the subject line should look like. I'll mention as like uh, emergency number dial by plus. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, there was an emergency number dialed by so and so number. So I'll make it as calling contact info. Okay, click on apply. Okay, now what I'm going to do is in the body, right, I'm going to put some more information, like maybe there was an emergency number dialed by so and so person. Please contact the person immediately. There was an number dialed by plus calling contact info. And then again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more data. So the data should look like plus, and then please contact the caller immediately. Okay, I'm going to click on apply. Okay, in the email contact, I'm going to select the email contact here. The email contact type what we created, we are going to select here. Now let's just validate the script just to make sure like everything is fine. Okay. So now what we have to do is after we create an email contact, right, we have to send this email. So I'll drag this here and send this email. Click on properties. Now here again, you have to select the email contact. Let the from be default, and to whom you want to send an email. Do you want to send it to any person or to a distribution list? So add the information here. So let's say I want to send it to ekanani@uccollabing.com. Okay. So let's say when the email is being sent, right, what you want to do after that, right? So we don't want the call to hang up. We want the call to be redirected to 911, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to create a redirect here. Whether it is a successful or non-successful, we are going to use a redirect properties. So here, what we are going to do is we are going to enter the destination. So I have two IP phones here, sorry, soft phones. So I'll make a call from 10,006. So I want the call to go to 10,002. So 10,002 will act as a 911 operator in my case. So I'll make it as 10,002. Okay. And then click on apply. Okay. Successful. Even in case of, let's say, unsuccessful, even though if we are unable to send the email, we still want the call to be sent to 911. So I've done that. Now let's validate this. Now file, save as. So I think that's all we need to do. After that, we have to save this file in the script directory. Okay. So what we are going to do is 911.eef. All right. I'm going to save this file. So this file is saved in the UCCX server now. So what we need to do is, next thing what we have to do is we have to come here and click on application management and create a new application. Okay, so it will be a Cisco script application only. Now I'll click on next. So I'll name it as 911 or maybe just 911. Okay, and maximum session, let's say 10. Script, we'll choose the script that we have just used, 911 script. Again, here 911 alerting, just a description. Click on add. As soon as you add this, right, you need to create a trigger here. So let's say the trigger would be Cisco Unified CM telephony trigger. We'll click on next. I'll enter the number as 911 and then in the language let it be default. Device name will name it as 911 and description is 911 calling or alerting. Call control group, we'll select the inbound call control group. Now ask alerting name 911. Device full, let it be default. Location, let it be hub none. Partition, will select the internal. Voicemail profile, ideally we don't need it, but let's select this. Internal CSS and line setting 911. That's it. Click on add. So we have done the changes. Just click on update once more. Go back. Now let's refresh this application and let's refresh the script also. Okay, so now if you come to the call manager, there will be a CTR outpoint that will be created. The CTR outpoint is 911, which is registered to the call manager. So now what we are going to do is we are going to dial 911 and we are going to validate what it does, right? So before that, I wanted to show you this is how my email looks like. So I've logged in as akadani@uccollabing.com. So at this moment, there is no email for 911 alerting. All right. So let's debug it in real time. What happens and see. So I'll debug maybe 45 seconds and now I'll make a call. Okay. You see, so we got the call. Now we have to get the calling party and the call party. Now, if you see in this step, right? So 10,006 is the calling party number. So it should reflect that the call is for the calling party number is 10,006, whereas the call party number is 911. All right. So if you see, the call party is 911 and the calling party is 10,006. Now what it is going to do is let's go to the next step where it is going to create an email. Okay, so the email was created, some data you have got it here. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to go to the next step where it is sending the call and redirecting it to the user. click on next. So if you see, I have got a call from 10,006. So this 10,000, this 10,000 call from 10,006, and I have got a call on 911 operator. So which means like
Hello, Cisco Unity Connection
so
Messaging
I'll
System.
answer the call.
From a touch-tone telephone.
Okay, so if I would have answered the call, right, this 10,002 was acting as an operator, right? As soon as I answered the call would have been connected between the 10,006 and a 911 operator, which is 10,002 acting as a 911 operator, right? So this is completed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to validate whether we got an email or not. So if you see here, right, we got the messages emergency number dialed by 10,006. And what it says is there was an emergency number dialed by 10,006. Please contact the caller immediately. And it has come from no reply at uccollabing.com, and it has come to Avinash Kanani, which is my email address. Now you might notice, right, how did the email come in? We did not define the SMTP host and all those details, right? So in my UCCX I've already defined that. So let me show you that. If I go to system email, and if you see here, right, the mail server is mail.uccollabing.com, which is my mail server. And the email address from where the mail should come is no hyphen reply at the rate uccollabing.com. So this is already updated. So that is the reason I got an email. I'll uh, demo this again so that in this demo, I'm going to answer the call. The call will be again answered by 10,002, which is 911 operator. Let's see that now. Okay. So if you
So if you
see,
see,
the
the
call is
call is
connected
connected
between
between
10,006
10,006
and a
and a
911
911
operator
operator
here.
here.
So I'll
So I'll
hang up the
hang up.
call. So you will see another email flowing around. Okay. So there was an emergency number dialed by so and so person. Please contact the caller immediately. So that's all about 911. So again, as I say, like if you want to implement it in the real time, please make sure you understand all the laws and you understand how it is acting in the production, how you have to route the call in the production. It's something that you need to decide. You may have to play around with some of the route patterns, some of the or maybe on the route pattern itself, you have to apply some of the patterns, or you have to manipulate in such a way that it takes the right calling party number, right? And you may have to play around in the route list. So that is something that you have to decide, you have to design, and you have to implement. All right. So this was just a demo to show a uh, proof of concept, like when you dial a 911, we can get that 911 alerting as an email. So I also wrote some article. I mean, almost this article I wrote almost 10 years back, I guess, where I implemented this solution in UCCX. And if you want to have a look, right, you can. I'll just open the website so that you can have a look. So this article I wrote almost around 10 to 12 years, 10 years back, I guess, or where I created similar script, right? So if you see, this was a script that I created, and if you see, right, there was an email also received when you dial 911. I also, created one more script. What it does is in that script is it not only sends the email, but it also sends as an SMS. So if you see here, right, so the similar script was created and I used a SMS gateway. So in the SMS gateway, right, so what I did was like I integrated this SMS gateway. I mean, basically, I installed this SMS gateway on my Android phone and integrated with UCCX. So, which means like whenever an email comes from, let's say, the mail server to this particular SMS gateway, what it does is it creates that mail as an SMS and send it to the team, send it to the person you have defined, right? So, if you see here, right? So let me close this side. So if you see like this is something like um, an email whenever there was an emergency number dial. So it came as an email, right? There is an emergency number dial by I removed this number who was the caller just for some testing purpose. I did input the right number, so I removed that from the list here. From I removed or cleaned from the image here. So basically, it was like showing there is an emergency number dialed by, let's say, 10,006 who dialed 911. So it was received like around, this was a time when I did some testing, right? And if you see, right, it was received from Vodafone Karnataka, so which means like it was a SMS from the cellular network. And this was something like, this is something that I've done on the um, SMS gateway, if you see here. So this is completely a Android phone. This is not fully. This is like one, two, three, four different images which I've combined. So you start the SMS gateway, and then you apply these settings, and then you apply the IP address of the mail server on what port you want to listen, and then SMS gateway password, and then email from what email it is coming from, the from and what email it is sent to, etc. All those information you define in the SMS gateway. So once you define this, it will always look for such emails, and then and once it gets that email, it will send a notification to the defined number that you have done on the SMS gateway. So this application I think is no longer available on Play Store. So otherwise, I would love to demonstrate this as well. I'll try to look for another application similar to this, which does similar job. But again, if you are implementing this in production with SMS as well, right? I would recommend like use a proper SMS gateway instead of a, just a workaround or just a temporary solution. What I have done using my Android phone. All right. I hope you like this video and I hope you find this informative. All right. Thank you for watching.